Hey everybody, happy Monday. It's Monday, August 10th. Who could believe it? This summer is flying by, even though we're all just staying at home. I'm going to chat a few minutes, wait for everyone to log on. We are having a kind of a thunderstormy here. So if you're here, could you say hello? Okay, I'm on the right screen. I was worried that I played with this a little bit, testing out my other thing, my Facebook Messenger room, and that I didn't reset everything. Okay, I see some eyes on me. Hi, Donna. It's thundering outside, so I hope I don't lose any, what you call it. If I lose you, I'll try and come back on, and we'll see how things go. We should be good. Our internet isn't the fastest here at the house, but we don't lose it very often. We lose our TV more often than our internet. Today we are going to make I'm going to show you a fun technique. Hi, Debbie. This is the card we're going to make, and it's a tarnished, embossed tinfoil. And we're going to use just a piece of tinfoil from our kitchen. Hi, Chris. I am using a retired product on this. It is very hot here, very muggy. We had a great last week. It was so beautiful, our weather, and it's very hot. I am using some copper embossing powder that is now retired, but you could just experiment and try different things in your stash to see what you've got. I'm using copper and gold on the silver tinfoil. I did want to mention that I have June thank you gifts going in the mail tomorrow. So if you're expecting something from me, if you placed an order with me in the month of July. If you placed an order with me in July, I will have those out in tomorrow's mail. I'm working on that this afternoon, and then be looking later in the week for our August card class to go. So I just did want to mention that. If you order from me in the month of August and your order is under $150, use the August host code, and your name will go in a drawing for this stamp set. It's a red rubber retired hostess set. It's really cute. But I will send that out to whoever's name gets drawn for the August host code. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. Okay, we're going to be using, I used this last week, the Gather Together bundle. This is another fall bundle that I love. I love all fall things. So when you order the dies and the stamp set together, here's what the dies cut out. You get actually two of these double pumpkin dies. One large, and then the stamped image, and then these embossed. I don't know if you can see the embossing because it's very faint. There you go. That's a pretty good picture. Hey, Mom. My mom just logged on. We all have to behave. So we're going to be using that bundle. It is in the new holiday catalog, and you do save 10% on if you order them as a bundle. And we're also going to be using the stitched nested labels. I'm going to use one die from this die set. I use this all the time. This is like squares and circles. This is something to invest in. So that's what we're using today to make this card. I showed this card last week. I used that stamp set in our new paper to make this card. There's the little pumpkins, and then here's the little leaf dies. And then we heat embossed on the card base. But this is really fun. I always like to show you a different technique, and I saw that this was popular, or I've been seeing this around, so I thought it would be really fun to try today. So what you're going to need is a piece of tin foil from your kitchen. Oh, I had already cut a piece. Didn't realize. I'm a little bit organized today. How's everybody doing? Did you have a good weekend? I babysat my little grand dog, and it was like she is not little. She is way too big and doesn't know her size. She hasn't been trained yet not to lunge and jump on you. She knocked me over twice. She's huge. It was like having a 3-year-old in the house, so I didn't get much accomplished this weekend. Okay, I'm starting out with a piece of Whisper White, and this is 3 7/8 by wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. 4 7/8. 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Sorry, I didn't write that down. And then we're just going to wrap some foil around it. I didn't adhere it or anything because we're going to adhere it to the card front later. This is so easy to do. And I forgot to turn my ceiling fan, hi Loopy, off, so hopefully our embossing powder won't go everywhere like it did earlier. I learn as I go. Okay, then I took some StazOn ink, and you can hardly see, but it just kind of aged it a little bit. My StazOn ink pad needs re-inked, but I just kind of rub that on there. It looks like that mercury glass, kind of, when you do that. And this needs re-inked, so if you have a fresh one, you probably wouldn't need that much ink. And it doesn't look like much right now. But it kind of just adds with all the embossing and the what else. Okay, then I'm using the tin tile. Yes, it's black. StazOn, and I used it because it's water, it's a fast drying solvent ink. I'm trying to see. It's in our catalog. Is it in our catalog? I think so. It StazOn Jet Black. It kind of makes it look like mercury glass. Hi, Kathy. And then I'm taking the Tin Tile 3D embossing folder. This is an old favorite. Stand by. Thank you. And Versamark ink. We're going to emboss it with the ink first, and then we're going to sprinkle the embossing powder on. So I'm just going to ink up the front side that's going to face the foil with the Versamark. And I'm probably overdoing it. This is going to leave kind of like a vintage distress look. It's not going to be a perfect, card by any means. Crisp, clean lines. Okay. So now we're going to run it through the Big Shot. And I've got it all ready here. I've made my sandwich, and I like to put, I've tested my machine so many times, I put a little extra piece of cardstock down there just to add to the sandwich to get a deeper impression. So you just have to experiment with your die cutting machine to see what works for you. And that's okay. Now we're going to sprinkle this with our copper and gold. I'm going to go a little bit more gold since our copper is retired. Whoops, see my ceiling fan? I bet black embossing powder would be really pretty too. Okay, and then I'm going to pour this back in my thing. Can you hear the thunder outside? I kind of like that sound. I was going to run errands today and I decided nope. It's a good day to stay in, but I think we're supposed to get rain all week. It's pretty nice this morning. Okay, so then I just sprinkled some copper embossing powder. Yeah, don't leave your ceiling fan on when you're using embossing powder. I'll have to get my little dust buster out. If you all follow Jennifer McGuire, she keeps a little dust buster in her room, and she gave me that idea. Okay, now I'm going to take my heat tool and melt this embossing powder. So I apologize for the noise. I'm going to grab this to kind of hold it. It's like, Debbie, it's like the backs to our Stampin' Dimensionals. I find those everywhere. One fell down my shirt today and I had to fish it out. I hope you can see how it's kind of turning metallic as the embossing powder melts. I like this one even more with more gold. See how pretty that is? It just looks like it's an aged metal. And then we just put it together. The little stamping I did was on the inside and on the little tag on the front. So I'm going to set that aside to dry and we'll do our stamping. And I used the label die and I just cut off one end right from the corner to the corner to get a straight edge to line up on the left side of my card. I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm using the stamps from the stamp set, the little wheat image, the season of thanks, and we'll go ahead and do our inside too while I'm here. I love this embossing folder. It's the tin tile, and it does look like an old tin tile ceiling, right? Okay, and then I'm using Memento for my sentiment. You could use the Stays On. Like I said, mine needs re-inked, or I would just go ahead and use it as well. It's a stickier ink. Stays On. And then we're gonna do May the season bring you smiles and love that will last all year. You'll have to try this, Kathy. It's like I felt like a scientist using my tinfoil and my Versamark. I just kind of felt like a scientist today trying that out. It's so easy and so pretty. Try it with some flower embossing folders. Try it with all kinds of things. I'm just going to stamp this little wheat stalk image on the tag with cinnamon cider ink. And then I'm going to put it here in the insert. So now we just have to put the card together. I'm trying to think of a pretty Christmas card to use with this. And I forgot to tell you guys that I cut that little tag out with this die from the Stitch Nested Labels. It is the 4th from the largest. So I just cut it out and stamped on it. I never know if you like to watch me do the die cutting or not. And then to put this down, I'm using the Stampin' Steel Plus. I would use a really strong adhesive, just because it's a little thicker and it's kind of bulky. You could use some tear and tape. I didn't use liquid glue because I didn't want it to smear all over the foil. And I'm putting this on a layer of 5 1/4 by 4 basic black. And see, it doesn't come off on your hands. And then I'm putting that on the front of the card. This is cinnamon cider, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, folded in half. And then we can put our insert in the middle. And for the tag, I just pop that up with Stampin' Dimensionals. I didn't want to cover up the pretty embossed background much, so I kind of kept the tag real simple. And then I just used a little length of this metallic ribbon. It's copper colored. That is in the basket weave metallic ribbon combo in the new Christmas catalog. And I just tied a knot. I didn't think it needed a big bow or anything because the image is pretty small. And I used a little mini glue dot. It's like I've tied this little thing of wheat together with a ribbon. I never know how the ribbon's supposed to go. I think it doesn't matter as long as you do it the same way on both sides. There we go. Okay, that's the card. This one's more gold with a little bit of copper, and I think this one's more copper with a little bit of gold. So you just need to get out your tin foil. I buy the fancy Best Choice brand. And I wondered if I would need to use the real heavy duty foil, but this is just the plain old aluminum foil. So try embossing your foil with your embossing folders and see what you come up with. I'd love to see what you come up with. So y'all have any questions? I feel like I kind of flew through that. Thank you for the hearts. Thanks for joining me. You guys have a happy Monday. I'll be back Wednesday with Coffee and a Card. And if you need anything in the meantime, you know where I am. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.